Hey friends, welcome back to My Decisive Learning. Today in this explainer, we are diving into one of the most chaotic and humbling experiences ever, freshman year expectations versus reality. Specifically, the expectation that you're going to be this perfectly organized straight-A machine who practically lives in the main library. But let's be honest, reality hits hard. Your expensive planner becomes a $24 coaster, your beautiful color-coded notes start looking like hieroglyphs, and that 6 a.m. workout? Yeah, that was a one-time pilot episode that never got renewed. College can honestly feel like a messy, year-long group project where everyone is pretending to know what they're doing. So today, we're going to bring some actual cognitive science into the mix, help you escape that overcrowded library, and optimize your reality.
Okay, let's dive into this super common student struggle. We've literally all been there, right? You were staring at a textbook, sitting on a packed, freezing cold library floor during midterms. You're surrounded by hundreds of other stressed out students, and you feel completely, totally unable to concentrate. Your brain gets foggy, and you honestly start Googling, can stress cause temporary amnesia? You probably just assume you're bad at studying or that you just lack willpower.
Well, this quote perfectly captures a universal truth shared by a user over on AnononFess. They said, if the library is not working for you, that is not a discipline problem to push through, it is an environment problem to solve. And I absolutely love that. Just because total silence or crowded, anxious spaces distract you doesn't mean you're a bad student. Trying to force your brain to focus in a space that doesn't fit your vibe isn't a lack of discipline, it's just a bad environment.
So here's our game plan for this explainer to solve this exact problem. First, we'll look beyond the crowded library. Second, the science of study environments. Third, hidden gems on campus. Fourth, matching your task to your location. And finally, building the perfect study crawl.
All right, Section 1, Beyond the Crowded Library, Rethinking Your Default Study Spot.
When you actually compare a traditional main library to, say, an empty department classroom, the contrast is just wild. The main library is usually overcrowded, it enforces this rigid, almost oppressive silence, and it just breeds a highly stressful atmosphere, especially around finals week. But on the flip side, empty classrooms give you spacious desks, giant whiteboards you can actually map your thoughts out on, and this dynamic utility where you can have the whole place to yourself or share it comfortably with a few friends. It really becomes obvious why the library isn't always the best place to get stuff done.
Okay, moving to Section 2, the science of study environments, or what the data actually says about all of this.
A landmark University of Michigan study revealed something absolutely fascinating. They found that students who studied the exact same material in two different rooms experienced a massive 40% boost in memory recall compared to those who just stayed put in one single room. I mean, think about that. A 40% boost just from packing up your backpack and moving down the hall?
And it all comes down to this really crucial concept, context-dependent memory. Basically, your brain doesn't just learn the text on the page. It subconsciously encodes your physical, environmental cues right alongside that information. So your brain uses your surroundings, things like the smell of roasted coffee, the low hum of an AC unit, or the specific lighting of a room as actual anchors to help you pull up those facts later on during a high-stakes exam. It's kind of like a giant puzzle, and your environment provides the edge pieces.
And the data gets even more specific than that. According to Rewind Notes, the ideal ambient room temperature for optimal cognitive function is right between 68 and 72 degrees Fahrenheit. If the room drops below that, which, let's face it, those freezing library basements always do, you can see a 44% spike in errors. Why? Because your body is literally diverting cognitive energy away from your brain just to keep you warm. No wonder you can't focus.
All of this adds up incredibly fast. It turns out environmental factors like lighting, temperature, and noise dictate up to a quarter of your overall academic performance, 25%. That means you could be doing all the reading, highlighting perfectly, putting in all the late-night effort, and still losing out on a quarter of your potential simply because you chose the wrong chair.
Which brings us to Section 3, Hidden Gems on Campus, Finding Your New Favorite Spot.
Across different universities, students are finding some incredible alternatives. Over at Michigan, students love the empty Mason Hall classrooms because they offer free plugs and quiet. Or in the Law Quad, there are these beautiful, secretly unlocked lecture halls. If you're at Pitt, you might hit up the hidden lounges in Posvar Hall or the Student Success Hub in Langley Hall, where they literally give you free coffee and snacks while you work. The point is, your campus is full of these hidden spots offering peace, quiet, and most importantly, an available wall outlet.
But of course, the hunt for these spots has its risks.
As one Lemonade user pointed out, the fear of trekking all the way across campus, lugging a heavy bag in the heat, just to find out there is absolutely no space left, is very real. It's incredibly frustrating and, honestly, a massive waste of time.
Which brings us to some really clever tech solutions that students are using right now. Apps like Muggerino are taking the total guesswork out of the hunt. These apps actually track real-time crowd levels so you know exactly if a spot is full before you even leave your dorm. You can filter for specific amenities, like do they have AC, fast Wi-Fi, chargers? They even have gamified study tracking, like growing a little virtual study pet for every hour you stay focused. It's an awesome way to ensure your study sessions remain completely hassle-free and strangely motivating.
Moving on to Section 4, matching task to location, aligning your brain with your environment.
You really need to match your physical environment to your specific cognitive load. For instance, you should never do creative essay writing in a dead silent room. A coffee shop with moderate ambient noise actually boosts creativity. But on the flip side, you definitely shouldn't do deep memorization of complex formulas in a bustling cafe. You need that quiet floor for deep focus. Problem solving? That works great in empty classrooms with whiteboards. And group work absolutely belongs in a student lounge.
And on that note, let's establish a golden rule right now. Please stop trying to do collaborative group work in a silent library. We have all seen those groups who spend the entire time aggressively whispering, awkwardly apologizing to everyone around them, and just being annoying. It is absolutely vital to recognize that group work requires a space where you can actually speak out loud, debate ideas, and brainstorm without getting constantly shushed.
All right, Section 5. The perfect study crawl. Rotating your focus zones.
Taking a page from a brilliant UCSD itinerary we found in our research, rotating your locations throughout the day is a real game changer. Imagine this. You start at 8 a.m. in a coffee shop for your creative essay writing. By noon, you grab some lunch and move to an outdoor courtyard to do some light reading in the sun. Then at 4 p.m., you hit up a quiet department lounge for deep review. This forces you to take physical breaks, keeps your environment totally fresh, and perfectly utilizes that context-dependent memory we talked about earlier.
And guys, this isn't just some fun social media trend. A 2024 survey of thousands of students actually proves that location rotation directly correlates with long-term academic success. Students who regularly use 3 or more different study locations report significantly higher academic satisfaction, and they get better grades overall.
So, to start your own study crawl, you just need to follow 3 simple steps. Step 1. Audit where you currently study and be brutally honest about how productive you actually are in that spot. Step 2. Build a location rotation and assign specific tasks, like reading, writing, or memorizing, to different buildings across campus. And Step 3. Digitize your flashcards and notes so you can be completely mobile, easily hopping from a cafe to a classroom without lugging around 20 pounds of paper.
Here is the real truth. Freshman year, and college in general, is messy, overwhelming, and totally unforgettable. It's not supposed to match those perfect expectations, because the reality is where the actual growth happens. So as you pack up your bag for your next round of exams, I leave you with this question. Where will your brain work best today? Stop defaulting to the spaces that don't serve you. Get out there and find your perfect environment. Thanks for hanging out with me today on My Decisive Learning, and I will catch you in the next one.